An ex, yeah.
She's just
Doesn't want to come back.
traumatized by that. Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird, but whatever. Okay. We're in the middle of Lag Baimer. Right, I think.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, we're on
No, is that right?
we're on page 58.
Yeah, okay, you're fair. Right. We said, right, I'm sorry. We talked about the Chacham Katan with the Chacham Gadol, right? That the simple Chacham with the incredible Chacham. So he's Batal. Now he's completely Batal. Now his Bittul has a lot to do with the fact that he doesn't really understand what it is that the Chacham Gadol is saying. But that being said, he appreciates the fact that he doesn't understand it, and he appreciates the greatness of the Chacham Gadol. Okay. So now, what about the Ish Pashut? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines down. Now we're trying to understand the inyan of Hoid Shebahoid. Right? That's where we're going. Mashen kena Ish Pashut she'ein lo sheiches klal l'seichel. He has no sheiches whatsoever to intellect. He doesn't think about things, think about ideas. Hine alav efshar leimar. Regarding him, it's impossible to say shu meivin shetzarech lisbadel, that he understands intellectually that he has to be batel to the Chacham Gadol because of the great wisdom of the Chacham Gadol. Meaning, it's not an intellectual decision, because that's not how he makes decisions. Ki'im, rather, his hoidah, ha'hoida'ah v'bitul shaloi, hinez a gufa etzle b'der hoidah. The only reason he's batel is because he's batel. In other words, so what does that mean? So it seems to be as follows, that the hoidah that this person has, the bittul that this person has for this great chacham, is simply because there's a tchuna of his nefesh, there's a property of his soul that allows him to be batel to something that's greater than him, even though he doesn't understand why or exactly how. He just has an appreciation of the fact that this is a great person. Could he explain to you the greatness of this person? No, couldn't explain it to you. But he knows that this is a great person, and that he should be batel that person. He's not batel because of an intellectual understanding of the greatness of the person. He's certainly not batel because of an intellectual understanding of the greater intellect that person has than him, because he doesn't think that way. He's batel because he's batel. Huh? Okay.
Because he understands the status of that person.
Well, it's not even understanding. It's not bina. It's not intellect. He just has an appreciation of the fact that this person is greater than him and he should be batel. Exactly how you would describe it. So the Rebbe is describing it as hoda'ah, meaning there's a property of the soul that allows me to be batel to someone greater than me. Why? I don't know. It just is. That's the Rebbe said. That he understands. Ki'im shaydav bitl shaloi hine ze gufa etzlei hu b'derech hoda'ah. It's all just hoda'ah. It's all just bitl. Now the Rebbe is going to explain. I mean, explain as much as you can explain it. It's something you have to have some sort of a gefühl for. The etzel chacham katan, by the chacham katan, the person who does have some intellectual understanding, hine a bitl v'hoid shaloi, his bitl hu mitzad seichel. It's in terms of his intellectual understanding that the intellect of this person is so much greater than his. Aval etzel ish pashut, by the ish pashut hine hoidah shaloi, his hoda'ah. Now the Rebbe is going to say it very, very clearly. Uloi mitzad Chabad. It's not mitzad Chabad, Chochma Bina Das, his intellect. And also the Rebbe says, V'lo mitzad Chagas. It's not mitzad Chesed Gvur Tiferes. It's not mitzad some very refined emotional state. That's not who he is. He's just a simple guy. Ella what? What's it coming from? Ki'im, rather, B'hoid Guf. meaning the innate ability to be bottled to something greater. Almost instinctual, but by humans we talk less about instinct and more about some sort of deeper, essential trait. Hu mitzad hoida'a ba'alma. Basic acknowledgement. Shazoin Chabad. That's Chabad. Why are you made it? Because I made it. Chabad. I'm not made it because of some intellect. Right? I'm made it because I made it. Why are you made? I don't know. It's very obvious to me that this person is a great person and that I have to be bottled to him. Can you explain that to me? No. So now, I'm sure very many people experienced that by the Rebbe, walking by for dollars, etc., right? They couldn't explain to intellectually exactly what it is about the Rebbe that was so special, but they experienced some sort of very special connection. Okay. It wasn't because the Rebbe just said something so incredible and transcendent that they were blown away. No, the Rebbe didn't say anything to them. He just said bracha v'atzlacha. But they were still bottled. I'll tell you an amazing story I heard on Thursday. I was talking to a friend who's a shaliach in Vancouver. So he called me up to ask me something. He said, "Did I tell you about my miracle?" I said, "What miracle?" So he had mentioned to me when I was in Vancouver that to visit my mother right before Pesach, he said that he wants to start a yeshiva, a girls' school, and a cheder. A yeshiva, a seminary, and a cheder in Vancouver. He says it has to be Vancouver as a place where frum people can live. No one here can know frum people can stay because there's no yeshiva for their kids, there's no school for their girls, there's no cheder for their kids. If we're going to open these other two schools, we're going to need cheder so that the teachers can send their kids to a good school. Okay. Fine. So we went to the Rebbe for Yud Aleph Nisan. And he was in the oil. And he told I said to the Rebbe, Vancouver is stagnant. We haven't really grown over the last few years. And I really do want to open a yeshiva, a seminary, and a cheder. That's what he said to the Rebbe. So he went outside and he opened an egress. And there's a letter, and the letter is written to someone named Moshe, it's not his name, someone named Moshe in Swan Africa, in North Africa, Algeria, Morocco. Education is the single most important thing. And there are many Jewish children who want Jewish education. So I think it's very important that where you live, you should open a yeshiva, a seminary, and a cheder. All three. Wait, it's better. And if you're worried about the fact that there might not be students, there will be students because Jewish children want to learn Torah. And if you're worried about financial matters, that will also be fine. Whatever the Rebbe said about financial matters, don't worry about it. Fine. So he's like blown away. He says, it's unbelievable. I never got an answer like this. So he's like sitting there and he sees there's a message from his wife in Vancouver. So he opens up the message. The wife asks him, "Did you read your email?" So he writes back, "No." So she writes back, "Read your email." Fine. He opens up his email. There's a letter there from a lawyer in Vancouver. He knows him or doesn't know him, I'm not sure. The lawyer starts off by apologizing. "Dear Rabbi, I'm very, very, very sorry. I should have been in touch with you months ago because this happened in August and now it's April. But Dr. So-and-so, whose name is Moshe, Dr. Moshe so-and-so, passed away in August and with no children and left you in his estate a certain amount of money." Right? Now, he was at the Levaya. He said to me, "I was at the Levaya. I knew this guy. Obviously left the money." So I didn't ask him how much. I'm not Israeli. But he said, he didn't tell me. He said, "It's a significant amount of money, enough as a down payment for these schools."
It's crazy.
What a wild story. That happened, reason. And what's really interesting is the Rebbe held back this lawyer didn't get in touch with him until he got the bracha from the Rebbe to do the whole thing. And then 5 minutes later, he gets the letter from, whenever he got the letter, it might have been that day, might have been the day before, but his wife told him to look at his email.
It's incredible.
Crazy story.
Wow, that's a great story.
So, Bezrat Hashem, he wanted to know if any of my kids want to work in the school. So I mentioned it to my kids and see what they want to do.
Wow.
He said we have to keep the Kaplan name alive in Vancouver. Your kids have to come and teach. But amazing, just amazing. One of the wildest stories I've heard for a very long time. Anyway, so this is Hoyd Shabbat. So we don't understand, but it's a bittul. Kamesha Emri Benusach the Meidim, as we saw earlier, we talked about this. In Meidim D'Rabbanan, right? The Meidim that we say during Chazar Sashat. So what do we say? Meidim Anachnu Lach Shatahu Hashem Elokeinu V'Elokeinu. We say ta. Right? And why are we Meidim? Al Sha'anu Meidim Lach. At the end we say Al Sha'anu Meidim Lach. We're Meidim because we're Meidim.
Wow.
That's what we say at the end, right? We are Meidim because we're Meidim. Baruch Keloides, right? And then we finish it up. Right? Meidim Anachnu Lach Ule Al Sha'anu Meidim Lach. Because we're Meidim to you. Shezeh Inyan Hoyd Shabbat. Lochain, therefore. So now, what's Hoyd Shabbat? Hoyd Shabbat is what the Rebbe is going to explain, but it is the. Have we said that yet? I don't think we've said that yet. No. Okay. The Rebbe is going to explain where Hoyd fits in relative to the other midos. For Lochain Hine, there's a famous Gemara. Baba Kama, everybody knows about halacha. Hine, Lochen, Hine, Manda loy kara b'meidim, someone who doesn't bow down in meidim, meaning someone who has not even enough bittul to bow down in meidim, ain't a come b'tchias amazing. That doesn't, it loses his evamabah. Oh. The kishe'ein lo yediyah. But when he has no knowledge, yesh le'yadayin tikva, there's still hope. Right? That he could learn something and change. Shari yodei al kol panim, that he knows at least shitzarech lehoides. Right? This is Hoyd Shabbat. If he has Hoyd Shabbat, so there's tikva, that he knows that he has to be meida, and he has to be batal. Ve'im gamzeh, but if even this base, the most basic, and we'll see, this is the lowest, most basic level of Aveda. The Rebbe is going to explain. Hoyd is the last of the midos per se. Yesoid, the Rebbe told us, is connection. Malchus is thought, speech, and action. Of what? Oh, so the 5 levels of midos are chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, hoyd. Those are the 5 levels of the emotional reality. Then that emotional reality produces a connection to something, that's Yesod. And that emotional reality, that connection, produces thought, speech, and action about that thing. Either positive or negative, depending on whether it's coming from the Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh Bahamis. Okay. So Hoyd is the end. So Hoyd Shabbat is the lowest level, the most basic level of Avodah. It's the beginning of it all. And that's what we say in Tanya. We say 41st chapter of Tanya. We say it every day before davening. Right? That what do we have to understand? That the Reishi Savodi Bikara Sharsha is Yira. The beginning of it all is Yira. What's Yira? The basic bittul. Without bittul, so there's nothing. I can be keeping Shabbos, etc. without bittul. Why am I keeping Shabbos? It's good for me. I like it. It makes me a big star in the community. Whatever. Right? Bittul is the beginning of my relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, so I might actually be doing it for him and not me. And what's that? That's Hoyd. And that's why the beginning, we said this earlier, that's why the beginning of all of Hoyd is Meidanu. And the beginning of davening is Hoydu L'Shem. It all starts with Hoyd. Hoyd is the ultimate in Kabbalah Zohar. Okay. So Hoyd Shebahid is the lowest level. Below that, there's nothing. That's why it says, if I don't bow down in Moedim, so I have nothing. I have the most basic level imaginable. That when a person doesn't understand, so he has hope. Because at least he has Haidah. At least he's bottled. Vim gam ze eine. And if even this there isn't, certain bittul, certain appreciation of the greatness of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Mikol Mokim Kevin Shiyochol Lifol Ba'atzmei. If, even, we're going to talk about someone, let's see, right? Someone who has no yediyah, but he still knows he has to be made. Mikol Mokim Kevin Shiyochol Lifol Ba'atzmei, since he can bring about in himself, Sheyeda Bli Yediyah, that he'll be thankful, he'll have certain acknowledgement without any knowledge that Sarach Lahid that he should be made them. Halt there, he's holding the Kol HaPachas at least by Madrega Hoyd Shebahid. V'yesh le tikva. Someone has the most basic, ethereal connection to the fact that there's a God and therefore I should have some connection to him. Why? I have no idea. No sophistication whatsoever, but at least there's some big. Someone who can't even bring himself to that level. Even he doesn't even have the lowest level of Hoyd Shebahid, the most basic, innate appreciation of the fact that there's something bigger than him. So what does Chazal say about him? His backbone becomes like a snake. There's no backbone. There's nothing. What's a backbone? A backbone is the foundation of everything. There's no foundation in his relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not there. There's nothing. Ki ein lo sheiches klal l'kedusha, has no relevance whatsoever to anything holy. Shar ein lo gam madregas hayeser tachteina sheba aveda. So he has not even a connection to the lowest level of aveda. And that's Hoyd Shebahid.
But isn't there this innate?
Well, this is the innate, and if this is also hidden, meaning the innate has to have some expression in conscious reality, and if it has no expression whatsoever in conscious reality, so then the person has no obvious revealed connection to Kedusha. Are they still a Yid? They're definitely still a Yid, 100%. Do they have a chance? They have a chance, right? But they're right now, where are they? Nowhere. V'zeu, now the Rebbe explains something really interesting. Because the Rashbi, of course, you would think is the highest level imaginable. So how can it possibly be that the Rashbi shayach to Lag B'Omer, which is Hoyd Shebahid, which is the lowest level imaginable, and lower than that is just a pit? Sharayin legam madregas hayirta azena. V'zeu shaychus to Lag B'Omer linyan aveda d'svir. And this is the connection of Lag B'Omer to the Inyan of Aveda the Svir Sefer, the Hine. Ha'inyan de Rashbi, ha'yeshayim mekasha oimek roim im emet tachas. Who's the Rashbi? The Rashbi was so great that he connected ha'oimek roim, the highest depths, meaning depth in a positive way, ima oimek tachas, with the lowest reality imaginable. So therefore the Rashbi could be the Rashbi, and could reveal the highest Torah that was ever revealed. The Rashbi on Lag B'Omer revealed the ultimate secrets of Torah to his students, right? And yet, what day was it? Hoyd Shebahid. He connected the highest expression of Torah that was ever revealed on Hoyd Shebahid. Shalachen hine zman istalku shelo, the time of his passing. She'az nizgala ha'oimek roim, and that's when it was revealed the deepest ideas imaginable. B'shorish shorishay ad l'mayla l'mayla, in the ultimate source of sources to the highest level we could possibly understand. So that's the Idra Rabbah. That's the Sefer Idra Rabbah that that's written. Right, and it's the deepest Torah of the Rashbi. I have a lag b'ema dafka. How could it possibly be a lag b'ema? Because the Rashi is able to connect the highest level and the lowest level. Hoyt b'hoyt. Shenistayim az biruhim. In other words, I'm going to explain what we were talking about before. Shenistayim az. It's finished there in Hoyt biruhim midas mitzad atzma. The rectification of the midas themselves finishes with Hoyt b'hoyt. Because Hoyt is the lowest of the midas themselves. This is what we were talking about earlier. Now we're seeing it inside. Hoyt is the lowest of the midas per se. Again, what's Yesod? Once there's a full reality of all of the midas, the 5 midas above, so then that brings about a revelation of Yesod, which is the connection to something, because a midah is a connection. I'm emotionally connected to this thing. And that produces thought, speech, and action, which is Malchus. But the end of the emotional reality is Hoyt. So Hoyt Shabbat is the lowest level in the midas themselves, which we said above, but now we're seeing it inside. Shenistayim, it's completed there in Hoyt, and in Hoyt Shabbat especially. Biru midah shemitzad atzma. Shamadrega yesa achreina, the lowest level, Hoyt Shabbat, the lowest level of the lowest level. Hine zmani stalkus shalom. Therefore, the time of his passing, Shagila Az, that he revealed then, Razin to Mirin, hidden secrets, Shalamai Lagami Pnimi Satar, which are even higher than any of the Kabbalah that had ever been revealed up until that point. Higher was Dafka b'madrega Sayyesha Achreina, on the lowest level, Hoyt B'hoyt. Because this is the whole Indian of the Rashi. We'll talk about this in a second. Shezeu iskashlus. This is the connection to Eimek Roim, the highest level, the Torah that the Rashbi was Megala on Lag Beimer, im with Eimek Tachas, the lowest level, which is Hoyt B'hoyt. Now the Rebbe says this all in brackets, but it's really, basically the whole point of it all. Hoyt Shabbat is the lowest level. But on a certain level, it's also the highest level. Because as you said, isn't there a level in the Jew where he's just connected because he is what he is? Well, that's Hoyt Shabbat. Hoyt Shabbat is an expression of the most essential aspect of the Yid's connection with the Eibishter, because even though there's no Seichel and there's no Midas, there's still a connection. In other words, the connection trend, on a certain level, there's a connection that's lower than Seichel and Midas. And in terms of Avodah, I have to move from this very, very basic and fundamental connection to a more sophisticated emotional and intellectual connection. There's no doubt about it. In my Avodah, I have to go up. And going up is going to involve greater emotional growth and greater intellectual understanding. There's no question. That's what has to happen to the person themselves. But the very fact that there's a place called Hoyt Shabbat is indicative of the fact that there's this place in a Yid that is so powerfully connected to a Kadosh Baruch Hu that even though there's no intellect and there's no emotion, he's still connected. Like you said, isn't there that place? Well, yeah. So Hoyt Shabbat is when that's revealed. And that's the basis of it all. So Mitzad Echad is the lowest level. There's no question. In terms of revealed reality, it's the lower level, and I have to go from there to higher places. On the other hand, it's the highest level. Because what is it an expression of? The deepest, most essential connection of the Yid to the Eibishter. That even though there's no intellect, there's no emotion, there's nothing there, he's still a Yid. And what's a Yid? A Yid is someone who appreciates eloquence. So the Rashbi brings about a revelation of that dichotomy in Hoyt Shabbat by Dafka revealing the highest Torah that was ever revealed, Dafka on Lag Beimer, because the Rashbi is all about connecting the highest level to the lowest level. Well, that's what Chassidus is all about. But that's what the Rashbi started. So now that I'm going to say this all in brackets, this connection of the highest level and the lowest level, Efshar liyos, it's possible that it could be rak only b'hakoyach shelamayla b'seder yishtalshus, only through a koyach like machos Shabbos, which we talked about earlier, that's beyond seder yishtalshus. She'ein sham hagbalus ma'ila u'mata, that there's no limitations, anything. Seder Yishtalshelus is the most powerful expression of orderly downward emanation. Therefore, it's what's real in Seder Yishtalshelus, what's revealed there, higher levels, lower levels, differentiation, Maila, Mata, Atzilus is higher than Bria, which is higher than Yetzira, which is higher than Eilam Asiyah. Chochmah is the first place. Bina is something else. Tiferes is something else. All these different levels of reality. So we can talk about higher and lower. Once you go beyond that, so then higher and lower becomes much less revealed. As a matter of fact, there's no higher or lower. There's just infinite reality. So what is it that allows bringing about this synthesis of the highest and the lowest? The revelation of a level beyond high and low. And that's why, like Beimer, why did the Rashbi reveal his Torah dafka in the Eimer in general, and Lag Beimer specifically? In the Eimer in general, because what's the Eimer? The Eimer is all a revelation of the level of Machras Shabbos, a level beyond limitation, beyond the higher and lower of Shabbos and the rest of the week. It's beyond that, as we learned. The Machras Shabbos is a level beyond Shabbos. What's Shabbos? Shabbos is the highest level in time. Seder, it's still relative to the idea of time, and therefore it's still relative to the idea of gvul, of limitation, and it's still relative to the idea of higher and lower. The Rashbi revealed his Torah dafka in Sfiras HaEimer, because Sfiras HaEimer is all about the revelation of Machras Shabbos, a level beyond the higher and lower of it all, beyond Seder Yishtalshelus. And when in Lag Beimer, when in the context of Lag Beimer, this is the lowest level, he dafka revealed the highest, to show just how powerfully he represents that idea. The Zeh Shaykhis the Lag Beimer la Aveda, the Sfiras HaEimer. It's the revelation, the most powerful revelation of that which is beyond Ishtalshelus, and that we said that that's the koyach that gives us the ability to do Sfiras HaEimer b'chalal. And when is that revealed most powerfully? Lag Beimer. Why? Because Lag Beimer is the synthesis of the highest level, the Torah of the Rashbi, and the lowest level, Chabad. Beyond levels, beyond upper and lower. With this power specifically, there can be the Aveda of Sfiras HaEimer. Right? Machras Shabbos. Canal being in Machras Shabbos, like we said earlier about Machras Shabbos. What allows me to bring about a change in my midas? That I can tap into something beyond me. If I'm just tapping into my own natural order, so Eina Aser Matir Satz. Prisoner can't set himself free. So I'm going to just be limited by my physical reality. Even my metaphysical reality in terms of its natural state. So I can't change. No, I can change. Why? Because there's a place called Machras Shabbos, which is beyond that limitation. That's Sfiras HaEimer in general. What's the most powerful expression of that? Lag Beimer. Why? Because Lag Beimer is the synthesis of, on one hand, the highest Torah ever revealed by the Rashbi on that day to his students. He told them this is the day he's leaving the world. He revealed this to them. And the lowest level, which is Chabad. But that's what Sfiras HaEimer is. Sfiras HaEimer is going beyond the boundaries of high and low. V'kayach al Sfiras HaEimer, hu al yedei Kabbalas Ol dafka. What's Chabad ultimately? Kabbalas Ol. And what's Kabbalas Ol? So Kabbalas Ol is mitzad echad the beginning, the lowest level, but mitzad sheni it's the highest level, because ultimately what's Kabbalas Ol? Why are you doing this? Because the Eibishter said so. I understand it, I don't understand it. Even if I do understand it, why am I doing it? Because the Eibishter says so. So Kabbalas Ol has to somehow illuminate every level. There has to be a hoyt in every level of avodah, even midas, even intellect. Because it's all Kabbalas Ol, ultimately. That, even though it's the beginning is Kabbalas Ol. I have to get beyond Kabbalas Ol, I have to get to love. Okay, but why am I doing this? Because I love the Eibishter? Okay, that's good. But there also has to be Kabbalas Ol in it. Because if it's only mitzad my love, then it's mitzad me. If it's mitzad Kabbalah soul, then it's mitzad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's all coming from Him. Why are you doing this? Because God said so. Do you love Him? I love Him. I'm crazy. I love doing what God told me to do. Oh, but I'm doing it because He told me to do it, not because I love doing it. Right? So that has to resonate in everything we do. So mitzad echad Kabbalah soul is the lowest level. On the other hand, it's the highest. It has to be there at all times. That's why I say a chassid is a Kabbalah soulnik, even the greatest chassidim. The power of Sfir Semi, the power of bringing about change in ourselves, is through Kabbalah soul. Because what does Kabbalah soul say? Kabbalah soul is that he doesn't consider space and time. Meaning, if something has to get done, it gets done. Where am I in space and time? I don't know where I'm in space and time. What's that got to do with it? Does the Eibishter want this to happen? Yes. Okay, so this has to happen. It's too late, it's too early. What's that got to do with it? That's Kabbalah soul. Kabbalah soul isn't based on intellect. This is not based on his intellectual understanding. So on mitzad echad Kabbalah soul is lower than Tam Padas. Why are you doing this? I don't know. God said so. On the other hand, it's higher than Tam Padas. So I don't allow my Tam Padas to limit me. When I told this story about Vancouver to someone who knows Vancouver well, so they thought the story was an interesting story, but immediately their intellect went in there and tried to show how accomplishing this would be extremely difficult. Well, it's just Tam Padas. It's just intellect. The Chatchila Riba, go make it happen. You have a bracha from the Rebbe, so go make it happen. Is he going to make it happen? Bezrat Hashem. He's definitely going to try. He's not the type of guy who's going to let someone's intellect to explain to him rationally why this is a difficult thing to do and who's going to want to come. Sha'az, hine leidak shezmanu makamenu ma'alim u'mastir lefanav. Not only is zman makom not ma'alim u'mastir lefanav, ki'im adarab, the opposite is true. Shemevvarer zman makom. Not only does space and time not conceal reality in front of him, meaning bring him down to a place of limitation, but rather what does he do? He rectifies space and time. Time and space. Shizeh, this is all shot. Usfartem. Illuminate it, right? Usfartem lechem. You have to illuminate you, meaning you as you exist down here in time and space. Shizeh gam kein achana le'viyonei melech hadarav. This is all a preparation for, and the king will bring me into his chambers. Vahine. Now the Rebbe says something really interesting. Lag B'Omer is the matan. You can finish the matan right now. Lag B'Omer is the matan Torah of Pnimius Torah. That was related to Lag B'Omer is the matan Torah of Pnimius, and Shavuos is the matan Torah of Nigla. Oh, so now historically, Shavuos was a long time before Lag B'Omer. But interesting enough, every year Lag B'Omer comes before Shavuos. Theoretically, you should have Shavuos and then Lag B'Omer every year. I mean, not Lag B'Omer, but whatever Lag B'Omer represents, Kabbalah Satara, Panimi Satara, that should be after Shavuos. Right? First you get Nigla, and then you get Panimius. So that's what happened in history. So why is Lag B'Omer every year before Shavuos? It's not a preparation for Shavuos, it's the step after Shavuos, so to speak. Oh, so the Rebbe says an amazing thing. The relevance of Lag B'Omer to the idea of the king brought me into his chambers, who is the Lag B'Omer who Gilui Pnimi Satar. Lag B'Omer is the revelation of Pnimi Satar. That even though in the natural order, the Seder is first there has to be learning of Nigla. And afterwards Pnimius. Now that's what happened in the world's history, but that's also what happens in everybody's life. We don't start teaching someone deep ideas in Panemius before they, can understand basic pshat in a Mishnah. We teach a kid, we're not teaching a kid Samach Vav before we teach him a Mishnah. Teach a Mishnah first. Well, okay, Beseder, he'll have nice ideas on the Parsha, but he's not learning Chassidus seriously until he's much older, whereas he's been learning Nigla, right? He's been learning a little Mishnah, and we'll start him off learning a little Gemara, etc., right? Okay. So first the person starts learning Nigla, and then they start learning Panemius. Aval tzarich leido. The person has to know. The very fact that this is the Seder, this is the order, this is through the revelation of Panemius first. Keep reading and then we'll understand it. This is the ending of Lag Beimer. This is what gives power. That then learning Nigla will be the way it should be. In history and in a person's life. So the order is first Nigla and then Panemius. But, Lamaisa, once a person reaches adulthood, okay, so then what? What's the first thing they have to have? They have to have a Lag Beimer first. Why? Because if they have a Lag Beimer first, then their shvuas will be the proper shvuas. The only way that they're going to accept the Torah properly is by first having a connection to Panemius and Torah. So why is it that how do you and I know how to learn Nigla? Because we've learned Chassidus. That's what the Rebbe says, which is really amazing. So yes, on a certain level, it's first Nigla and then Panemius. But once we look at the bigger picture, how is it that a person comes to a proper appreciation of what it means to sit and learn a page of Gemara? He has to learn Chassidus. If he doesn't learn Chassidus, he will never learn.
Isn't the fact that the movement related to Kabbalah, whole, as we said, also enables the person to learn Nigla?
Right? At Kedabor, as it should be learned. Meaning, once he's gone through Lag Beimer, and once he's reached the state of connecting the most basic aspects of his life, his Kabbalah soul, to the highest levels of godly reality, so then he can appreciate that what's Nigla? Well, Nigla's the same. Nigla's all just Elokus.
It's pretty amazing insight.
Amazing. So that's why you have to have Lag Beimer first. Meaning, it's true, you're going to teach someone the basics first. Okay, now you're ready to start learning. First things first. There's a God. Why are you teaching me that? Well, because if you don't know there's a God, and you don't know what it's all about, then when you learn Gemara, you're going to think it's intellectual push-ups. And it's not. It's all about God. The other night, I think I told you guys the story, that the other night, so last night's Shabbos, I went to a siyum. Very nice kid. He made a siyum. His first year in Yeshiva. He was very excited. He was the first guy ever in that Yeshiva that in the first year made a siyum on a Masechta, and he was very proud of this and very excited about this. And it should be. It's a nice thing. So I've had a relationship with him over the years. So he asked me to come, and I showed up at the siyum and gave him a hug and mazel tov. It was very interesting. He introduced me to his chavrusa. So I said, "You also made a siyum?" He said, "No, only he made a siyum. He's the masmid. He's the one that learns all the time." So then he says about his chavrusa, "No, he's the masmid. He's the one that learns all the time. This is like you're supposed to be a masmid." So this was driving me crazy. That these guys have been in yeshiva in 1 year and they turned them into idiots. I mean, why would they do this to them? Right? They were like normal people. So I just told them a story. I told them, we've talked about the story many times. The story about Rav Zusha Van Napoli, who's stuck on Beis Amud Aleph, right? And everybody else is on Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, and they go back to base. There must be a problem, and they look there, and there's no problem. I mean, there's no problem. They learned it again and again, and it would seem reasonable. So they kept going in the Gemara. Finally, after they had gone through a few more pages, they were bothered. So someone went to Rav Zusha, and one of the students went to Rav Zusha and said, "Rebbe, we're on Vav Amud Beis, and the Rebbe's still on Beis Amud Aleph. Is there some problem on Beis Amud Aleph that we're just not noticing that the Rebbe's trying to solve?" So So why is the Rebbe still on Beis Amud Aleph? Why isn't the Rebbe turning the page yet? And Rav Zusha looked at them and said, "It's so beautiful here. Why should I go anywhere else?" Now, Rav Zusha finished Shas, okay. But what was he saying? There's any more God on the next page than there is on this page? Meaning this idea, I have to turn the pages, I have to go weiter, I have to... There's just as much God here as there is here. So the idea, I have to finish Masechta, I can see him, so it's true. Just finish Masechtas and make Siyumim and finish Shas, and that's good, that's amazing, that's incredible. But don't lose sight of the fact that there's no more God on the second page than on the first page. Just remember, so when you turn the page, realize you're saying, have a certain, your heartstrings are tugged at a little bit by virtue of the fact that you're leaving God on that page. Okay, he's on this page too, Baruch Hashem, but whatever representation of God was on that page, so now you've got a new one over here. So, as opposed to, I can't wait to get there. I'll be done soon. So, they liked the story. I don't know whether they heard it, but... V'zeu masha remez. So Lag B'Omer is what gives koyach to accept the Torah properly. V'zeu masha remez al Lag B'Omer, who gal einai. David Melech says, gal einai, open up my eyes. V'abita niflois mi teresecha, and I will see wonders from your Torah. It does not say I'll see wonders in your Torah. I'll see wonders from your Torah. Right? Open up my eyes. In other words, it takes an opening of my eyes to see the wonders of Torah. It doesn't say I'll see wonders in your Torah, but wonders from your Torah. I'll appreciate the godliness in Torah, but it depends on you opening up my eyes. The David Lamed Gam Pnimis Torah. David Melech learned also Pnimis Torah. Umasha Bikesh, what did he ask? Dafka. He asked for the wonders specifically, and what are these wonders? Shezei Gala Lassi, these are the wonders of the Torah that will be revealed Lassi Lave, revealed when Mashiach comes, like the days of your leaving Mitzrayim relative to Yemei Mashiach. It says, Erenu Niflois, I will show you wonders in the future, meaning when Mashiach comes. Sha'ascholas Agiluim, he said, the beginning of the wonders of Torah, the beginning of the Gilui Hayab Lag B'Omer, was in Lag B'Omer. Sha'az Gila Rashbi Razin to Miriam. Then that's when the Rashbi revealed secrets that were hidden. Razin are secrets, the Miriam is hidden. Shaloyiz Galu, that ultimately will not be revealed. Adara de Mashiach. The true understanding of what the Rashbi taught on Lag B'Omer will not be understood. And he says that it won't be understood until Dar de Mashiach, till the generation of Mashiach. Hine. Through our connection to Pnimius Atara and Lag B'Omer. This is the proper preparation that the king will bring me to his chambers. It will also illuminate in his learning of Gemara and Poskim, Halacha. This is what David HaMelech said. Gal einai, open up my eyes. Gal is Oisius Lag. Right? Same words, same letters. Gal einai v'abita niflois mi teresecha shegam b'teresecha hainu b'nigla b'tera. Also in nigla abita niflois. I'll see wonders. I'll see the elokus in Gemara just like I see it in Chassidus.
Okay. Is part of seeing, is what he's saying, open up my eyes, is it saying I'm open up my eyes so I can see what's hidden, or is it saying open up my eyes to a higher level that I can see what godliness is?
Both. I mean, if it's hidden, so I want my eyes open. If it's revealed, so I want to be able to be sensitive to it. I mean, it's really both. Right? Those are sort of two halves of this, two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
Right? But what's David Melech ultimately asking? I want to see the Elokus in a page of Gemara. Now, there wasn't exactly a page of Gemara over in Melech's time, but I want to see the Elokus in Nikla. I want to see the Elokus in learning Hilchos Shabbos. It is very easy not to be sensitive to that.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
One of the guys in the Gemara shared, right? I'm teaching these 18-year-olds. We're going too slowly. We're not covering enough ground.
Really?
No, we aren't going slower than he would
but-
like. There's someone else in the class who's working very, very hard, harder than anybody. So I'm going at the pace that's best for him because he's putting in the work. But this guy, it's true, he could go a little faster. So we're doing one more little piece tomorrow. They're not around today. We're doing one little piece tomorrow, and then we're gonna prepare the review for a day, and then I'm gonna want them to tell me everything we learned in order off by heart. So we'll see whether he can do it. If he can do it, good. So I have to speed up a little, but we'll see. But I'm gonna tell him the story.
Yeah, it's good. Wow.
Chabad.